Woodard lined up, wide to the right of Williams. Back to throw, looking, going
Pierce.
middle, pass caught. Mason Pierce for the second time tonight. Touchdown, Smithson Valley.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, with Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. High school football does not get much better than that. The Rangers, a 40-37 winner in overtime over the Judson Rockets, one of the top-ranked teams in the state, and up until this past Friday, an undefeated team in the 27 6A district. And Coach, I'm going to repeat myself, it doesn't get much better than that.
Well, the fact that we won, I guess, and maybe that's right. It was a very tense atmosphere, playoff atmosphere, deep in the playoff atmosphere. Both teams going at each other, both having had some wild momentum swings. And, obviously the game was tied at half. The game was tied at the end of regulation. Very tense overtime period. So, clearly it could have gone either way. And, we seem to have had a lot of those games the last 3 weeks. Goes right down to the end. And, we're ecstatic that we could win, got us into the playoffs. We had nothing guaranteed going in there. And so, a lot of things got done and made just one more play than them maybe right there at the end.
What really stood out to me was that throughout the game, each team was making big plays. You mentioned the momentum swings. You had a 97-yard touchdown in the third quarter to Mason Pierce. So the Rockets come back, get a touchdown to tie the game in the fourth, and get a pick six. They're back up in front. You get a game-tying touchdown following a long drive. Well, then they fumble the football but don't give up any points. They get a stop. In terms of resiliency, how much did that stand out as part of the game?
Well, I think that, it's going to come down to that in a game like that. If a game's not a blowout one way or the other, or maybe a few touchdown margin, it's going to come down to that. You've got to accept the fact when you play a team like that, you're going to run the ball up in there and not make much sometimes. You got to accept the fact that sometimes you're not going to be able to slow them down. And, not every play is going to work. Not everything's going to go according to plan, but you got to stay the course, fight the fight, and just kind of be bound and determined that we're going to make enough plays. We can't make them all, but we're going to make enough plays to make a difference. And, that doesn't always hold true, but it did last Friday night.
What were the emotions like on the sideline and following the game?
Well, on the sideline, some of us wear headsets and we're kind of locked into calls and that kind of thing. But you could just feel the tension. You could hear the crowd, both through the headsets. It's very hard to hear. Just had the feel of a quarterfinal, semifinal game. Atmosphere. And then of course, you're into the game, you're into the play, you're into the moment, and then suddenly the ball's caught. You see him be able to pull away from the tackle, and the second he crosses the goal line, you realize it's over. Just 2 seconds ago, we were what's next, and now it's over, and a flood of emotion, it comes across all of us in our team, and of course in the locker room, same thing. And that's not the end of all ends. The ninth game of the regular season is not the end of everything, but it was a great win to have. Anytime you can be in a situation like that and perform, you're a little more confident maybe next time you get in that. And clearly, we've got some big games to come.
Looking at the play of your offense from this past week, the previous two games, with the tip of the cap to Clemens and Canyon, your offense struggled a little bit. Against Judson, you got things going. Why was that?
Explosive plays. We've had a noticeable absence of those the last couple of weeks. I mean, not by any design or lack of effort, but, we just haven't had as many big chunk plays. Against the 27 6A teams, you can't drive the ball 8, 10, 12 play drives every time. So occasionally you're going to have to borrow some yards all in one shot. And for whatever reason, weren't able to do that with any consistency for a couple of weeks. The other night, in kind of an ironic setting, because that's a team that hasn't given up any of those, we were able to get a few more, and then that seemed to give us confidence. And then all of a sudden, we are getting steady drives. And so, in our league, like we said a minute ago, it can't always go right. You can't play well every week. You just can't. There's too many good teams. And when you're not maybe clicking on all cylinders, you got to find a way to win anyway. And one game we didn't, one game we did, and then, kind of got it going again the other night. That's kind of how it is, the ups and downs of the season.
One of the storylines we were following throughout the game on Friday was the constant change at receiver, the challenge that you had with a lack of depth where you're missing Ricky Rios. You can't afford to play Trevon moerig-woodard and Mason Pierce every snap because they're also playing for you defensively. How challenging was it to keep shuffling the deck at that position?
Well, it is. You know, our receiver coach, Jeff Shin, does a great job with all of our receivers, the part-timers who play a lot, as you mentioned, and then the full-timers, and took all of them. It took all of them. We had a couple, 2 or 3, 4 different guys going in and out doing different things. And, you know, while they don't have every role, they have specific roles and important roles. And I thought without fail, all of those guys took those roles, embraced them, did a good job of it in a big-time setting against a big-time opponent.
Now, looking at the play of your defense, some might look at the final score and see Judson's 37 points and say to themselves, Smithson Valley didn't play great defensively, but I look at some of the big plays you made on defense, specifically when Judson got inside the red zone. Let's narrow down that play of your defense when things got tight to that 4th down stop inside the 5-yard line early in the third quarter, following a long drive by Judson. By that point, you figure your defense is a little tired and maybe worn down a bit, but you came through with that stop. How'd you do it?
Well, that was huge. You know, that kind of got lost in the shuffle of all the big plays. You know, you mentioned some turnovers that we got, a 98-yard touchdown throw and catch, of course, the overtime play, big kick return, things like that. People have kind of forgotten about a goal line stand. I mean, you get 4th and 1 on the, I guess it was the 5-yard line, and they go for it, and we stop them. No points. And what a huge play, and what a huge sequence. And people forget about that. And some opportunistic turnovers, you know, preventing some too many explosives from Judson. I thought our defense played well against a team that had been over 50, 60 points several times this year. And again, you can't win every play, you can't win every series or sequence against them, but you got to win enough of them to give yourself a chance to win. I thought our defense came up big.
And the Rangers did do that. They didn't win every play, but they won the game against Judson this past Friday, 40-37. Plenty of big plays for the Rangers in their win. Let's take a look at this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is a kicking play. This is a kickoff return that creates a very short field for our offense. We're only going to have to drive 30 yards for this score. The kick in the ball, Trevon moerig gets a catch. And then you see Jack Gibbons block there on the 32-yard line, knocking one man in, and then Bobby Palamine right there on the sideline, knocking a man toward the boundary, and then finally Devin Moorhead with one other block. Those 3 blocks create an alley, and Trevon does what he does best. He outruns or breaks a tackle, get the ball all the way down to the 30, gives the offense an extremely short field, and we go on in to score a few plays later. See a good look here at the end. We're playing a little cat and mouse on who goes where between Nick Aiken and Trevon. Trevon guessed right this time, and you see those same blocks from a different angle. There's Will Gibbons, and then there's Bobby Palamine and Devin Moorhead making a kick-out blocks, and there's the alley right there that Trevon's able to get up and through, and then, you know, lets his speed and athleticism take over. Short field leads to a touchdown, big play. Our next big play is a goal line stand. Kind of lost in the shuffle of all the big plays the other night was how important this is. This is a 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line, and they're trying to run off tackle, and there's Tom Zoig, our sophomore linebacker, coming inside the block and forcing the quarterback to run to the outside on 4th and 1. From there, we have 3 defenders that are attacking that particular spot. The place where Tom made the ball run, they're attacking. That's Jacob Johnson, Trevon moerig, and Will Gibbons all on the tackle, just short. And that's a huge play. Here it is again. You can see Tom closing off the inside running lane. Now here we go, outside in and inside out. There's Trevon coming in. He gets him. Jacob gets him. Will gets him. Stop him short. You know, no points. Ends up being a game winner. Shortly thereafter, we get a 98-yard throw and catch on a 3rd down play. It's Mason Pierce with the annotations here. He's going to go down and in on a post route. You can see that the middle of the field is vacant. It's 1-on-1 between him and the corner. We get good pass protection. Levi squeezes it off just ahead of the blitz. He splits the defenders, and, you know, very underrated in his speed is Mason. You can see him pulling away for a 98-yard touchdown throw and catch. You know, just a humongous play when we needed it. See it from the rear. They're blitzing off the left edge, and they're blitzing off the inside to the right. Great job of picking it up. That's our left tackle right there. That's Logan Smith picking up the blitz there. Diego Cervantes, our fullback, cut blocks the inside blitz, gives Levi just enough room to squeeze it off, and you can see Mason going into the voided area there, just a perfectly thrown ball. And now it's a foot race, which we're fortunate to win. Broke a 20-20 tie late there in the third quarter. You know, another big play. Our last big play is the game winner. You know, this is a run-pass option. We even wrote it in there, run or pass. We're reading that defender with the arrow. Does he play run or does he play pass? Levi with the circle around him along with our tailback, Nick Aiken. He can hand the ball to Nick or he can throw the ball to Trayvon depending on what that defender does. He stays flat-footed, which indicates run read to us. So we pull the ball from the tailback stomach, make the throw in here to Trayvon in the voided area. He catches it, breaks a tackle on a 3-yard line, gets it into the end zone, and suddenly the game is over. I mean, you go from, you know, white knuckle time, pressure hard in your throat, and all of a sudden you realize it's over. And, you know, if you were at the stadium or listened to it or watched it, you know, a lot of pandemonium there. Let's look at it from the rear. Once again, run pass option. There's the throw. There's the catch. There's the break of the tackle. Touchdown. Like you said, 1 minute you're wondering what's going to happen. The next minute you win in overtime. And those are our plays of the week.
Well, Coach, again, the last one was the walk-off touchdown, Levi Williams to Trayvon moerig-woodard, and that's now 3 games in a row. It has come down to virtually the final play. 4 games total for you this season that have come down again to virtually the final play. How many more gray hairs do you have right now?
Well, I celebrated my 91st birthday the other day. I'm aging rapidly, but you know, those are great situations to be in. Obviously, you want them all to come out in your favor. 3 of the 4 have, 1 did not. But every time you're in it, you're not comfortable the next time you're in it, but you've been there before. You know that you can perform. You know you're just a little bit better. You can't win every game big, and probably don't need to win every game big, because at some point you're going to bump into games like this. So yeah, it's tough on the old coach, but real proud of our kids for coming through. Again,
that's life in 27 6A play. The Rangers will continue to face district opponents. Their final one, though, this Friday against the New Braunfels Unicorns. A game we'll preview coming up in just a bit. After the break, time for this week's Senior Moments and Little Men. Back with more Inside Rangers football in just a moment.
We just got the GVTC Connect Home with Sky Bell.
Wow, you can see who's at your front door. Who is that?
Hello, Mr. Mueller. It's Marty from GVTC.
That's Mason Pierce, senior wide receiver and defensive back for the Rangers.
No, just Marty. Making sure everything's working. Video, doorbell, remote arming and disarming of your alarm. And you're getting text messages when windows or doors are opened.
Marty, watch this. RANGERS, Rangers, Rangers!
The best! I mean, the best security on the planet.
My passion is working with high school seniors. I really love being able to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera and express their personality so that their parents and themselves can have some beautiful images, keepsakes that really commemorate this milestone in their lives.
Oh, that's working good. All right, CJ.
I put together a consultation prior to the session with the parent and the senior so we can really talk about their personality, their likes, some of their activities that they are involved in at school, so that we can really kind of bring out that confidence and that comfortableness in front of the camera that can really express who that senior really is.
So Jennifer, thank you for being here with me today. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is you do?
Well, I'm a portrait artist located here in the New Braunfels, Smithson Valley area, and I specialize in creating home decor for your house that has your images in it.
I'm pretty good at my iPhone and taking some really neat pictures, but I've been looking at these shots you have and they look like they're straight out of a magazine. How'd you learn how to do this?
Well, I actually went to school and got a degree in photography and have continued my education throughout the years, really wanting to hone in on how to make people look their absolute best in front of the camera. I also have a professional camera and lenses that I use that you don't necessarily have on your iPhone to really make things look incredible. I also take lighting sometimes on set and also reflectors so that I can really manipulate the light to really get that effect that I'm looking for.
So I heard in 2016 there was kind of a big deal. You were featured in a magazine. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, Senior Style Guide is a national competition, and they have a magazine that comes out every year, and I was one of their Hot 100 photographers. I got featured in there with one of my images. It was really an amazing honor to have.
So with so many amazing portraits that you've taken, how do parents just narrow it down to that one special picture to send out on graduation invitations?
Well, because my graduation invitations are two-sided, we can put a couple of different images on there, but one of the things that I have recently incorporated into my work is doing living portraits, where we are incorporating films or videos of my clients during the session, where they can actually scan the image on the card with an app on their phone, and then they can actually watch the film right there.
Oh wow, so
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa that live out of state can really see their whole session.
They can not only see the session with the still images, we incorporate video where that's actually them laughing and just really showing their expression and personality throughout the living or the video moments.
I didn't even know that was possible. That's pretty amazing.
It's a pretty new technology, and I'm super excited to get to do it for my clients here.
So I know portraits can be a bit of an investment. What do you do to help make this affordable?
Well, you know, I really want everyone to be able to get every image that they absolutely love from the portrait sessions that I create for them. So I have come up with a plan to do a payment option if anyone so chooses to take advantage of that, because I do really think that it's something that only comes around once in a lifetime, especially as a senior, and you're never going to look probably any better than you do when you're a high school senior. And you know, I just want people to be able to cherish those memories of their children. I truly believe what I do is a wonderful service for my clients, that they're able to hand these images down, the albums and tangible products that they can show their children, their children's children, and it really becomes a piece of history that they're able to keep for their family.
For more information on Jennifer Wilson, you can visit her website at www.silver-plate.com.
Make memories of a lifetime this Thanksgiving weekend at Bernie's 18th Annual Dickens on Main celebration, Friday and Saturday, November 24th and 25th. Stroll Main Street Snowy Wonderland as you enjoy live ice sculpting, a 60-foot snow slide, photos with Santa, and of course holiday shopping along Bernie's Hill Country Mile. Dickens on Main features fun children's activities, live performances like Bah Humbug, a one-man Christmas carol, horse-drawn carriages, food merchants, and amazing concerts each night. And admission is free. Visit dickensonmain.com for all the details.
Welcome back to the studios here of Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley taking on New Braunfels this Friday. Preview that game coming up, but right now, time for this week's Senior Moments with our very own Emily Wick. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. Boys, you know what to do.
Text your moms. Yes.
That's right. Text your mamas. So I'm here today with Jake, Trayvon, Ricky, and Mason. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. So, Jake, tell me, if you had a favorite movie quote, what is that?
I have no idea. I don't really watch movies.
No?
No.
Too busy playing football.
Yeah, that's it.
Anybody else? Favorite movie quote?
You're not first, you're last.
Ooh, that's a good
That's
one.
a great one.
That's something to live by, right?
Mama said the alligator has all those teeth with no toothbrush.
Is that off of Waterboy?
Yeah.
Trayvon, if you could buy any one thing, what would you buy?
I'd probably buy my mom anything she wanted.
Oh, that's very nice. Would you
You're gonna
wait,
say that.
Trayvon? Would you buy it for her birthday?
Yeah, I'd buy it anything. If I had enough money, I'd buy her anything.
And when is your mom's birthday?
August 5th.
Oh, good job, Trayvon.
Yes.
So tell me, did you all study your mom's birthday before you got here?
Yes.
No?
I just know
I remember.
Oh, Ricky, you just knew it anyway.
Yes.
Good boys.
I went to Facebook.
I looked at Facebook. So, Mason, if you're sad, what does your mom do to cheer you up?
Normally she'll get some sugar cookies and bake them for me.
That's nice, and that's the way to your heart?
Yes.
Yes.
Cookies.
And milk?
Yes.
Yes. And that does the job every time?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, there you go. Your mom's got that figured out. So, Ricky, do you have any hidden talents?
I guess.
What is it?
I like to play music.
Yeah?
A couple of instruments.
Oh, you do? What kind of instruments do you play?
Guitar and piano.
Oh, wow. What kind of guitar?
Acoustic.
Very nice. And piano. Have you been playing that long?
No, ma'am. I took a piano class freshman year, and then guitar I just picked up last Christmas.
What's your favorite song to play?
Probably my own songs that I made.
Oh, you write them too?
Not lyrics, just notes.
Just notes?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I like that. Jake, can you recite Hey Diddle Diddle for me?
Hey Diddle, I honestly have no idea what that is. I've never heard of that.
You've never had the
never
rhyme,
heard
or the nursery rhyme, Trayvon?
Never heard of it.
Y'all don't know nursery rhymes? Since y'all don't know it, you need to make up your own rhyme. So hey, I'm gonna start you off. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle.
Larry Hill jumped over the moon.
Oh gosh.
So Mason, I heard that you can really do a good Coach Hill.
Yeah, I can, I guess. You want me to just do it?
Yeah.
All right. Man, we're back here for 2 days. Start to finish, we're here. Gonna start, finish in December.
That's pretty good. Does he do that a lot, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
He always
Yeah.
ties that thing.
Yes, do that.
He gets on me about shaving.
Well, I was gonna say, when I saw you this morning, there was a little more of you. You must have hit the razor before you got in here.
Lost some weight.
So Ricky, what gave you nightmares when you were little?
Girls. No, not girls. Actually, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so what gave me nightmares was like Dark Jedi's coming to my house.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's a little.
terrifying.
I'm sure. Did you go wake your mom up or hide under the covers?
No, I just got my lightsaber and
Well, that makes sense.
yes.
Do y'all know what you call nachos that aren't yours?
Nacho cheese.
You know it! Nacho cheese.
That one's like the most popular one.
That's so good too.
So, why did the stadium get so hot?
I don't know. Why did the stadium get so hot?
Because all the fans left. Why did the bicycle fall over?
Why did the bicycle fall over?
Because it was too tired.
Okay, guys, I want to see how fast we can pass. You ready? And go! Yes! Good job! I think Coach Hill's going to be impressed. And Jake, I heard you've got a cartoon character you're pretty good at. That's good. Do it again.
I have to.
Looking at it from the side.
Trayvon, do you have one?
Do it. So I'm trying to think. Alright, probably Goofy.
Okay, let me hear it.
You done
That's funny. All right, no pressure, Ricky. Do you have one?
I don't think I do have one.
You can just try any of them.
I don't really know any SpongeBob or something, or Patrick. Who you calling Pinhead? I'm Dirty Dan.
All right, Mason, you're up.
Zoink, Scoob, we gotta get out of here.
All right, guys, thanks for being here today. It was a lot of fun. Coach Brant, back to you. Go Rangers!
Thanks again to Emily. Always fun, again, with the senior moments each and every week here in Inside Rangers Football. Also fun is our weekly Little Men segment. Here's this week's Little Men with Coach Hill.
A favorite tactic of offensive football teams is to quite simply outnumber the defense at the point of attack. That's true in the run game. It's also true in the pass game. A frequently used play is to put 3 wide receivers to one side of the field and try to only get them matched up against 2 defensive backs, 3 on 2. Defenses obviously are at a disadvantage. So as a defensive unit, Smithson Valley, like most defensive teams, has to have a way to combat that. What is 3 on 2? How can we get those numbers back in our favor? Coach Lane Bowman is here today. Lane works with our cornerbacks, and he's going to go to the little man board and tell us how Smithson Valley then, through what we call a cat coverage, gets the numbers back in our favor. So Coach Bowman, take us and show us why we do this cat coverage.
Basically here they've got us 3 on 2. They've got us what they think is outnumbered. Prior to the snap, we're just going to move our coverage over to that side to where we have them outnumbered. This guy will roll here, this guy will roll here, he'll come over, this guy will be over. And now we have them numbers in our favor.
So what was 3 on 2 is now 4 on 3 in our favor. So let's go to some game clips and watch cat coverage in action.
All right, here we have 3 receivers on 2 defenders, supposedly, what they think. We're going to slide our safety over on top of number 2. Our corner will jump down inside, and our linebacker will jump there on the seam with the other safety rolling over the top. And now we have them all covered up with nowhere to throw. Same situation here. We have 3 receivers on what look like 2 defenders. Our corner rolls down, our linebacker rolls out, our safety rolls over the top, and we see the hitch inside and jump on it and defeat that play. And once again, we have 3 receivers on what looks like 2 defenders. Just prior to the snap, we roll into our positions, see the play, defeat the pass.
Cat coverage, getting the numbers back in our favor. And now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, Friday's win over Judson was Smithson Valley's first overtime win since 2001. Who did the Rangers beat that year? Is the answer A, Roosevelt, B, Fredericksburg, or C, Canyon? The answer is B, Fredericksburg. The Rangers beat the Billies that year 37-36 in overtime en route to a 14-1 record, the best record in program history. Smithson Valley would play in the state title game that season, actually falling in overtime to Denton Ryan 42-35.
So yes, the last Ranger win in overtime was 16 years ago against the Fredericksburg Battling Billies, a district game then. And Coach, what a wild one that was.
It was wild back and forth. We had to score inside of a minute in regulation to tie it, and then of course we scored. Had the ball first and scored in overtime, and then they scored with almost no trouble, and they left their offense on the field and went for 2 and ran a reverse and fooled everybody on the field except Chris Dabbs. Chris Dabbs got a shoestring tackle and saved the game, and that team went on to play for a state championship a few months later.
They did. That team won 14 games and played a state championship game against Denton Ryan, which came down to overtime as well. That was a loss for the Rangers, but this past Friday was a big win for you.
Big win. Overtime, it doesn't get any more tense than that, and certainly last Friday was no exception.
Again, New Braunfels, the opponent coming up this Friday. We'll preview that game coming up next. Back with more Inside Rangers Football in just a moment.
Whether you're looking to build a new home, buy your first car, or follow your dream of being your own boss. Let a neighbor help you. We understand your financial needs because we live and work here. Sage Capital Bank.
Just press enter and your GVTC home DVR will record your show automatically.
Thanks, Doug from GVTC, who looks exactly like Ranger Senior CJ Keeler.
I'm just Doug, here to help.
Fumble!
Here you go. Can I help you set up your favorite channel list now?
And welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley taking on New Braunfels this Friday. The Unicorns come in 6-3, although mathematically now out of the playoff race by virtue of a tough loss against Clemens at home this past Friday, 17-7. Coach, you've been in the district with the Braunfels for a number of years now. Going back to your start at Smithson Valley back in the mid-90s, a lot of history with this Unicorn football program. How would you describe the history that you have with the Braunfels?
Well, you know, some good, some bad. You know, they're always a formidable team. They have a great program, great tradition. In recent years, have made tremendous strides under Coach Mangold. And you mentioned just going to barely finish out of the money this year, like some other good teams are. You know, had a tough game. The Clemens game could have put them in the other night, and you know, take the lead with 5 minutes to go. Looked like they're going to win it in a game they clearly had a chance to win. And you know, the kickoff return. You know, so that's kind of like our game, you know, 1 or 2 plays and we win as opposed to lose. In their case, 1 play and they lose as opposed to win. And, you know, probably any other league, they may be the district champion or a playoff team, but we all know what it's like in this league. They'll be as good a team as we've played. We know what we're up against.
Yeah, the Braunfels victims of a really stiff 27-6A district. When realignment comes up here in a couple of months, they'll definitely have their eyes on where they'll be moving forward. You look at this year's team again, winning record for the second year in a row, 6-3, no matter what happens for them on Friday. And you look at the play of the offense in particular, it has been great throughout the season. 40 points or more 6 times, 60 or more twice. Only 2 weeks ago they put up 60 against Wagner. What stands out about the play of their offense?
Well, the fact that they can spread the ball around. You know, it all runs through the quarterback ready, but he's such a great decision maker, whether it's who gets to run the ball or who gets to catch the ball, or does he use run-pass options. You know, they're very varied in their offensive attack and use a lot of playmakers, so it's not, hey, focus on this and then you can get them stopped. They force you to kind of stand there and play base defense, and they're really good at exploiting it. You, as you mentioned, have scored a lot of points many times.
Are there any opponents you played this year in which their offense has been comparable to what New Braunfels does?
No, not really. You know, 27-6A is kind of a black and blue, bloody your nose league, and they can do that too, but they spray the ball around with the intermediate and deep ball as well as their short game, and so a little different style of attack, very challenging.
And you can bet that New Braunfels' offense will be looking to bounce back after being held to 7 points against a very good Clemens defense, which you know of firsthand.
Right.
You look at the New Braunfels' defense, though, and then they kept the Unicorns in the game last week. And throughout the season, their defense has been making some plays, forcing turnovers, holding opponents down below their season averages. What do they like to do on defense?
Well, you know, they like to line up in a 3-man front and be very sound. The kind of defense you don't like to play against. You kind of like those guys that bounce around here, there, and everywhere, and you feel like maybe they won't be real good at anything. New Braunfels is the opposite approach. You know, we're going to line up a certain way. We're going to be really good at it because that's what we do, and they dare you to do something about it. And a lot of teams have had a difficult time doing that, and I hope we're not one of them.
There was a chance that coming into this week, this game may have been for a playoff spot, depending on what happened this past Friday. That's not the case, but there's still so much on the line. For New Braunfels, a chance to improve the win total from a year ago and to keep you from winning the 27-6A district title outright, which you can do with the win on Friday against the Unicorns. In terms of atmosphere, what are you expecting on Friday?
Well, you know, it's our senior night, so we're going to recognize our senior players and, what will now not be their last home game, but last home regular season game. And then, of course, in our case, you know, district title aspirations, you know. It can be anywhere from a tri-champion between us, Clemens, and Judson, depending on we have to win, of course, and then the outcome of the other games. If Clemens were to lose their game against Steele, then, you know, we would be playing for an outright district championship. So the chance to win one or share one is and then of course just a rare opportunity to play another good, really fine football team. We're looking forward to the challenge. Wouldn't mind it being a lesser foe, but then we don't have any say-so in that. So it should be a great atmosphere for football
All right,
this
Coach.
Friday night.
All right, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Brant.
Again, Smithson Valley taking on New Braunfels this Friday at Ranger Stadium. Kickoff is at 7:30, and we'll have live coverage on the Rangers Network starting at 7:15. For Coach Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. Thanks as always for watching. We'll catch up with you again next time.